All right, good morning, English 5. Happy Thursday morning to you. Just a reminder, a happy reminder for you probably. We do not have school tomorrow. No school on Friday. So I won't have anything that I expect you to get done on Friday. Obviously, there's going to be no virtual meetings Friday. That is a day off for you. Take that time to relax. Or if you're on behind, or if you're behind on some assignments, that would be a really good opportunity for you to catch up and get some things completed. So um, use that time wisely, I guess. If you're on top of everything, use that time to relax. If you're behind, maybe try to catch up on some things and get yourself caught up so that next week you can um, start fresh and continue on with which now is going to be my second announcement I was going to make. Um, is we're going to have, obviously you've probably seen that we have 2 more weeks of virtual, so we got to make the best of the situation, and maybe not the most ideal situation that we have, but we're going to keep plugging away. For our class, we're going to really keep this similar format going. So again, we're meeting those, or we're joining those virtual meets at the start of our class hours, going over some information, having some work time, asking us questions, and we're going to keep pumping through this. And um, again, we're going to make the best out of it, and hopefully there is a light at the end of the tunnel. As long as you guys are working to get things turned in, we'll be a-okay. All right. Just don't be afraid to reach out if you need assistance from myself or Mr. Bird. All right. Today's stuff. Not a whole lot, because I know that we only had one day, and I wanted you to be able to complete this during our time today. Lesson 6. What I thought I was going to do an introduction to mood, but since we only had one day, I said let's just practice doing a tone analysis. Um, so that's what we're going to do. So we're practicing with tone at the beginning of the week, and now we're going to actually try to see, can we put this together and actually start doing a tone analysis. You will have an option later on to do tone or mood, but I thought let's walk through both options so that you can see what this would look like. And the assignment says to watch this if you miss class, because I want to go over it. And really it just says complete this document. So let's take a look at this. And I'll make a copy of this document for you. Once you open it up, this is what you'll be completing and submitting to Google Classroom tonight, because again, we don't have anything on Friday. Zoom in just a little bit here. The directions say here, below is a tone analysis chart. I've completed parts of the chart. You need to complete the remaining empty boxes in the blue row and fill in the highlighted blanks. All right, so I put together a tone analysis chart. We might use something similar to this once we eventually get to the summative, or at least to maybe prepare for the summative. I've been playing with, I have a couple of different formats. I'm going to try this one out, so we'll see how this works. But we have a chart here, and a lot of this you can see that I already kind of filled things in for you. So focus text, we're going to take a look at the poem from Monday and Tuesday, the Indian Boy Love Song #2. And I put genre, so I just put poem. Eventually, I have that open so that I know what you're analyzing. First thing is, what is the text intended meaning or message? Whenever you're going to analyze for tone or for mood, you have to kind of understand what the main message is. What is the artist? What is the author? What is the speaker trying to get across to us, the audience? Because if we know that, then we know how the tone is going to affect that later. How does the tone add to that message? And if you remember from my tone from the slides, when I introduced tone and mood, tone directly affects that message, the understanding of what it is that the again, that the text is trying to get across from us, or trying to get across to us rather. So I put in here a little bit of a frame, trying to help you see if you can kind of put together this poem. This poem speaker is expressing regret at what? What do they regret? What are they showing remorse for? And is now seeking, what is the speaker seeking? So I think if you can put that together based on the poem. Then the middle part here, this is the meat of what we're doing. We need to find particular text evidence, direct quotes, taken from the text, sorry. So I put a couple in there. And then tone explanation. What tone does that evidence establish? And explain how the specific language in that direct quote established that tone. All right, so I find the quote. Now I got to explain how it establishes a tone. So I used basically two. So there's two in here, but they're related. I never spoke the language. I never held my head. Why am I picking those out? The speaker sets up two scenes by using the phrase "I never." Using that repetitive phrase, especially the strong word "never," which delivers a sense of finality, which means it's like never is like a very strong word because when you say never, that means it can't ever be ever. It's never. It never will happen. There's not a possible time where it will occur. So that's what I mean by its sense of finality. It can't be undone. It will always be not. Um, because they're using that word, it suggests to the reader a sense of pain or guilt. The speaker is reflecting regretfully on his past. Um, because and never cannot be reversed. Sorry, I always editing my own stuff. Um, Another example I have from Winter So Cold, Freeze the Tongue Whole. So that's part of the poem. This is part of the first image the speaker presents to the reader. He seems to regret not knowing the language of his ancestors and visiting them. However, he chooses winter as the season to remember. Not a bland winter either, one that is so cold it could freeze the tongue whole. Besides being a metaphor for not being able to communicate, um, as far as like, if your tongue's frozen, you can't talk, that's what I meant. It is also a painful description. Um, this continues a tone of guilt and remorse um, by connecting pain to this. Okay, so I have it's all right. So besides being a metaphor for not being able to communicate, it's also a painful description. This painful image continues a tone of guilt and remorse. Obviously, the speaker's feeling really bad about this. It's so painful he chose this particular image to express that. Then three is blank. Three is where you have to pick your own piece of text evidence from the poem, and then you need to explain how that establishes a tone. Maybe it continues to establish a tone, but the important part is how does the language do that? Can you explain how the particular language used helps you get to that tone? That's what I'm trying to show you in those two examples. And then the last thing you have to do is this is the second part of the standard. You have to figure out how the tone, and then mood's the other one we'll do later, but how the tone or mood affects meaning. Um, and I put up a frame here for you and I have some fill in the blanks. Um, the poem seems to be highlighting the speaker's struggle with abandoning his American Indian culture. Because the tone is so serious, painful, and regretful, it allows the reader to connect with what? What do we think? What does it allow us to connect with? What am I trying to say here? It allows the reader to almost put him or herself in the speaker's shoes, which intensifies one's understanding of how, what. Okay, what do we think? Down here is the poem again. I just plopped it down there just in case you wanted it all on one page. You didn't want to flip back to that other document from earlier in the week. So I just put it down there for you. That's all you got to do. Fill out bloom, two yellow blanks here. Fill out this row here. And then fill out these two blanks here. All right, and then that's what you're submitting through Google Classroom. That's all you got to get done by tonight, and then the weekend is yours. Unless you got stuff to turn in, maybe you want to use that time to get caught up, and so you can start fresh on Monday. And then, again, I will see you Monday at the our regular virtual class time, whenever we're scheduled to meet. All right, we'll see you later today.